Alrighty, guys. So thanks for coming out to our Smart Plans class today. You're gonna be learning how to master all these KW marketing tools that we have available for you guys as agents. And so before we kind of got started, I want to see where you guys were at as far as your marketing with KW and what you were kind of learning to, what you wanted to learn getting out of this class today.
Me, I'm just trying to understand more of the tools.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we can definitely kind of target what those marketing tools look like in Command. And then we can also kind of cover some best strategies for how to implement those. So as far as the marketing elements of Command, you're primarily going to be looking at Smart Plans and campaigns right here. These are going to be your two different ways that you're going to be targeting your clients. And the way that I kind of like to break these up are Smart Plans are kind of like passive marketing and inactive marketing, while campaigns are more active marketing that you're currently putting your focus on. So passive marketing is kind of like a weird concept. So let me go ahead and kind of break down what that looks like for you guys. A Smart Plan is basically what your kind of retention plan is for that client, like what you were really kind of planning on doing in order to keep reaching out to them, to keep being front of mind as a real estate agent. KW has a lot of different kind of plans that they put together for you to be able to kind of have that happen. So if you're kind of doing a long-term nurture where you have a buyer who might not be ready to buy for more than 6 months, you would want to implement a plan something like this. The different plan steps are going to be broken down here so you can kind of see what it means. So the first step is going to be linked to monthly neighborhood nurture. So that means it'll monthly send them a market report of what their neighborhood looks like or what their neighborhood that they're interested in buying in looks like. It'll show them what's on the market, how many changes have happened over the past 30 days, what the average prices have been, and stuff like that. From there, it'll wait 10 days for it to cool down before it asks you to reach back out to that client and call them. From there, it'll give you another touch task to reach back out to them, make sure that you're kind of continually a part of them. It's really just a system that you have in order to kind of diversify the different ways that you contact your clients. So you're not quite bothering them, but you're also not quite leaving them to kind of float in space on their own. A lot of agents have kind of a problem with kind of balancing between these. So KW just wanted to provide some tools in order to offer you them. You can see that we have some scripts here for different texts and stuff that are part of the Smart Plan. So anything in those brackets there is going to be auto-filling. So where it says agent first name, agent last name, it'll pull your information from your marketing profile. So all of that will be filled out for you. And then from there, it just goes back around and repeats 6 more times. So it's kind of has about a month's long play for how to reach out to that person. It'll wait and it'll tell you, hey, just do it all again. And from there, you keep reaching out to them and until they eventually tell you to stop or they buy a house from you.
So, question about
there are a number. Yeah, shoot.
Quick question about when the clients are looking at the homes. Is that also go through the Smart Plan, like the Smart Plan on the emails and just reminders to touch base with the clients, or are they actually able to once you set up the neighborhood search in the Smart Plan and then you connect the Smart Plan with them, does it pull up those homes in that neighborhood or city area as well as the email?
So essentially, each Smart Plan that a person is on is going to show up on their contact card. And so it will save some of that information from the past plan that they're on. Let me show you a contact and we can see what that looks like and you can tell what Smart Plans that they're on. So over here, I'm looking at my contact, Chris, and I can see that everything that's going on my timeline over here. But if I want to look just at the Smart Plan interactions that I've had with him, I can change to here. You can see, oop, I don't have him on any plans yet. And you can see that that's because I took him off my open house follow-up plan. But if I wanted to put him back on a new plan, all I would have to do is just hit add to Smart Plan. And from there, it'll give you all those same options from KW from before, or any kind of custom Smart Plans that you might have outlined yourself. So I'm just going to go ahead and add him to a generic plan. And then from here, you pretty much have the option to either start them now or start them in a couple days. So if you're working with 50 clients, you can kind of space them out. So you might have 10 each for the next 5 days. Different strategies that you can kind of implement here. It'll ask you to review what the plan looks like and say, hey, you do want to put this person on the plan that'll do this to them, right? Always better to be safe than sorry. There's going to be a lot of verbiage about do not call lists and stuff like that. So please do not start spamming people if you have not had a legal way to get their information. Super straightforward, but this, again, something that we just got to put out there. Once you've reviewed those guidelines for the Telephone Consumer Act, we're just going to hit confirm. And now you can see that he's been put on that plan. The plan that he's currently on will show up here under his contact card. And you can kind of see where he is, when he was added to it, and what the last thing that happened was there. You do have the option to have a person on multiple smart plans. So if you had kind of different strategies behind what you're using different ones for, you might be able to implement multiple at once. So let's say that you had a person that just came through your open house. They were interested, but they didn't quite like that exact property. So they wanted you to put them on a search for other things that were in the area. That would be a great way to follow up with them. But you could also potentially have that same client who wants to sell their own house. And so they were interested in what the market stats for their area look like. So they would simply be put on a smart plan based off of what neighborhood they currently live in to see what their home value would be like and what other homes in the area sound like. You can market to them on the buying side and the listing side, and eventually you might be able to double side that deal. So now that we can kind of see what each contact looks like in relation to that smart plan that they're on, let me kind of show you a few more different kinds of smart plans just to get a more general idea of what you can use them for and other ways that you can implement this tool. You can see that you can have quarterly call plans, which are a really popular program for a lot of agents who are looking for some kind of system to put in place that will keep them constantly in touch with their sphere. I know a lot of agents have trouble with lead gen, where they'll be working 5 deals, then they'll have no leads, then they'll lead gen and lead gen and lead gen, get 5 more deals. When in reality, you really should be kind of going back and farming those original people and kind of doubling back and making sure that you're working your sphere, because that will generate leads for you more passively and kind of end up being a longer term strategy. You can also see that they have newer smart plans that are highlighted for you. At the end of the day, if you decide that you want to work with that smart plan, you can either hit that same view steps button that we've been hitting, or you could just hit add smart plan. You can see that this utilizes 2 at the same time. So it kind of links together the biweekly neighborhood nurture with the current plan that I'm looking at. And anytime that you see that biweekly neighborhood nurture or BNN kind of abbreviation there, that's going to be that neighborhood report that I was talking about that shows you what's going on in that area or that area that you're looking at. So now that I've seen all these different smart plans that are available in the library, I can kind of double back and see what I'm currently using for my contacts. Now that I'm in my smart plans dashboard, I can see who's on each plan. Got one person. I can see that I have Mike on this plan. If I wanted to look at my quarterly call plan, I could either expand it out to see all the steps or view all the contacts that are on the plan. Once you're kind of familiar with the concept of smart plans, a lot of the software here is going to be really straightforward. So do I have any kind of questions about what we've gone over so far? Awesome. So now that we've kind of covered the basics of how to do some passive marketing, how to kind of put systems into place to remind you to reach out to these people, we're going to focus more on active marketing and active campaigns that you might want to put more intentional effort into, and that will oftentimes be shorter term. Campaigns is going to really encompass all of your email marketing. So if you want to do a big email blast, do everyone on the GACAR board to advertise your listing, you can do that. You also have your social media ads that are available here, where you can integrate your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything like that. And you'd be able to post it out either on your business page or as a paid advertisement. That's a sponsored post. And then finally, we also have a direct mail option, which is going to be a postcard service that we partner with that will send mailers to each individual house and neighborhood. So if I'm just going to jump into the general campaigns area, I'm going to go ahead and hit this create a campaign button, just to kind of have an idea of what the system looks like. So for my business, I typically use a lot of Facebook. So I'm just going to go ahead and use an example of a Facebook social ad here. It's a great way to kind of get used to the system. So I'm going to pretend that I have a new listing at 555 South Street. I'm going to select advertise a listing as my goal, and then I'm going to make sure that this one runs on Facebook. Hit create, and this will jump into what that campaign will look like for me. It'll give me the option to link it to one of my current listings on the MLS. Because I'm not an agent at the moment, I don't have any listings. So I'm just going to go ahead and change it to all listings. And then I'll go ahead and just pick one that's here in Gainesville. This one looks great, so I'll go ahead and grab it and hit select. And then from there, it'll start auto-populating all of your information from the MLS. So it'll pull over the listing pictures, it'll start pulling over the main copy or the description that you have put on the MLS there. You have the option to edit any of this if you'd like. There's also a number of kind of pop-up little tutorials and walkthroughs that are really great to take a look at if you're interested. From here, I'm going to go to my next drop-down and start editing more of the text. On the left side here, you're going to be able to have an option to change all that copy. And then on the right side, you can see a preview of what it will actually look like for the consumer. So if I want to start typing in a headline, I can see where it shows up on the right. If I do, hey, look at this amazing home. I can see that populated over here. So it's going to be what this line looks like. So if I want to kind of follow up with a great description, I'm going to go ahead and put in 3-bed, 2-bath, masterpiece that you won't want to miss. Keep it nice and generic. From here, I'm just going to hit save and keep on going. You can see that my media has already been pulled over. I've got that great picture, but if I had additional pictures that I wanted to incorporate, I could do that by hitting add more. You can see that my logo is already populated, my little KW Gainesville. It's good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save on this as well. And then now I'm really getting into the nitty-gritty with Facebook, deciding where I want to post that ad. I'm going to go under my Ryan Chase account, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this on the Keller Williams Gainesville page. Your next step is going to be deciding how you want to collect information from that lead. Do you want to use the Facebook lead gen form, or do you want to direct them to another site or landing page? So I've actually seen agents who have success with both methods here, but one that I personally really like is this Facebook lead gen that's already recommended for you. And the really big advantage of having this is that it automatically populates all the personal information that Facebook has from them. So if you have a lead gen form that says, hey, put in your name, address, and phone number to learn more and prefer to have us to reach out to you about your home, all of that information will automatically populate because Facebook knows it. They would just say, hey, is this the information that you want to give Keelan, your realtor? You would hit yes. And then from there, it'll automatically go. So by not having to have that customer actually type it in themselves, it makes them a lot more likely to be giving in all this information to you. So that's what I'm going to be selecting here using that Facebook lead gen form in order to take advantage of the autofill. From here, I have the option to change if I wanted to hit learn more, sign me up, apply now, depending on the context of what I'm doing here. Or alternatively, if I wanted to send them to a website like my agent website, I'll be able to direct them over to ryan.kw.com. And then that would also be another great place for them to link more to my brand. As I'm going through here, I can decide if I want to use custom settings. So let's say I want to start targeting an area like Gainesville. Or if I had a listing that was in a slightly different area, like if I had a listing in High Springs, I would also be able to target High Springs or that specific area. It doesn't necessarily change based off of your location. You can start targeting based off of interest as well, which is really great if you want to target someone who is more interested in farmland or something like a big ranch style, or maybe you're interested in someone who's into woodworking and they want to make sure they have a big shop or a big barn. Either one of those would be great options. You can see that pretty much any different interest that you can have on Facebook would be here with an estimated audience. Once I've decided that all of my audience settings look good, got my targeting set up, then my last step here is going to be going to my lead settings. What do I want to happen whenever I get these leads? So from here, I can go ahead and start having every lead come in as automatically tagged. So if I wanted every single lead to come in as Facebook lead, just so I knew that where it came from, that would be a great option to have here. Or if you wanted to tag them as anything else, you would also be able to start typing into this box here. So if I wanted to put Facebook lead, it'll give you the option to create a new tag on the spot. Beyond custom tagging, you also have options to automatically assign new leads to smart plans. So if you wanted to put together a smart plan from the earlier part of our class here with this campaign, you can have everyone who fills out this information on your Facebook ad automatically put on a smart plan that shows them information about their homes in the area. You can use different combinations of those strategies in order to kind of put them together with your active and your passive marketing. Once you've decided what you want to happen to all those new leads, we're just going to go down here and confirm the information for how long we want that campaign to run and then how much we're going to be spending per day. I do typically recommend that you have a lot of people who do either 3 to 4 days at the minimum with kind of more of a 10 to 12 days on the long end. This is a great way to kind of find a good sample size and in order to kind of avoid spending a ton of money all at once. If you spend just a few bucks a day, like here it says $3 a day for 10 days, that's a great place to kind of start. You might find that depending on the kind of ad you run, the quality of leads might increase, but the cost of the leads might also increase, or vice versa. So this is a really great way to kind of get into it and play around with it in order to find what your best social media strategy is going to be for you. And then now all I'm going to have to do is pop up to the top, double check it to make sure everything looks the way I want it to look. It's a great picture. All the headlines went in the way I wanted them to. So now I'm just going to go ahead and hit publish. And that's going to be the last step on how to utilize this campaign here. Are there any questions, or is anyone out there having questions on how to utilize smart plans, campaigns, or the combo? Alrighty, cool. So that pretty much concludes our smart plans and marketing class here today. If you have any kind of questions or you want some follow-up help on how to implement any of these strategies, please feel free to shoot me an email. Other than that, I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.